What's up, everybody? Today we're diving into something that's been driving me absolutely crazy lately. You boot up the latest AAA title, a game you've been waiting for years, and what happens? Your high-end PC struggles to hit 60 frames per second. The textures look like they're from 2012, and the game has the audacity to tell you, hey, just turn on DLSS and frame generation. Problem solved. No, this isn't a solution. This is a band-aid over a bullet wound. And the gaming industry's performance problem is bleeding them out. Look at Monster Hunter Wilds right now, a game that sold 8 million copies in 3 days, yet it's getting hammered by PC gamers on Steam review. Why? Because even on a high-end hardware, people are struggling to get decent performance. Digital Founders analysis showed that even an RTX 4070 struggles to maintain 60 FPS at 1440p with high settings for graphic. The game pushes insane hardware recommendation, and what's their solution? Just use DLSS and frame generation. This isn't just a Capcom problem. Look at Star Wars Outlaw, Silent Hill 2 Remake, and even Call of Duty. Games are getting harder to run while not looking substantially better than titles from 5 to 6 years ago. What happened? Developers are increasingly using upscaling technology as a replacement for proper optimization rather than as a complement to it. Let me be clear. DLSS, FSR, frame generation, these are amazing technologies. They are engineering marvels that can enhance the gaming experience when used properly. The problem isn't the technology, the problem is how it's being used. These technologies were designed to enhance already well-optimized video games, to take games that runs at 60 to 70 FPS and push them to 100 plus, to take games that look great at 1440p and make them shine at 4K. Instead, developers are shipping unoptimized mess that runs at 30 to 40 FPS and expecting DLSS to salvage the experience. They're designing games assuming everyone has access to frame generation, even though it's limited to specific GPU models. Look at Monster Hunter Wilds. The first thing the game does when it boot up, a pop-up asking you to enable frame generation. Before it even knows what your system can handle, it's literally telling you our game isn't optimized well enough to run without this technology. That's not using a tool, that's abusing it. When I started gaming, optimization was considered an art form. Remember when Doom 2016 came out? The game ran like a dream on practically anything. ID Software didn't just rely on the latest tech, they built their engine from the ground up to be efficient. Let's look at a perfect case study, Silent Hill 2 Remake. There's a mod called Sunny Hills that removes the fog in the game. What it revealed was shocking. The game is rendering detailed buildings and environments that are completely obscured by fog in normal gameplay. These faraway objects will never be seen by players, yet they are being fully rendered and eating up your system resources. The original Silent Hill games use fog as both an atmospheric element and as a technical limitation to hide the hardware's inability to render distant objects. It was brilliant game design and turned a constraint into an asset. The remake could have done the same thing. They could have used the fog to limit what needed to be rendered, saving tons of performance. Instead, they rendered everything and then covered it with fog. And when your system struggles, they just recommend you to turn on DLSS. That's not clever design, that's lazy optimization. This approach creates a cycle that hurts everyone in gaming. But here's the good news. We can break this cycle. One of the biggest issues in the cycle is the obsession with photorealism. Developers are chasing an unattainable goal that's crushing performance. And for what? A game that will look outdated in a few years anyways. Look at Aventure 3. It came out 2015 and it still looks incredible today. Not because it pushed for bleeding edge photorealism at the time, but because it had a consistent art direction. CD Projekt Red understood that artistic vision trumps raw technical specs. They created a world with a distinctive visual identity, carefully balancing details where it matters with optimization where it didn't. And let's be honest, The Witcher 3 ran better on hardware from 2015 than many modern games ran on hardware from nowadays. That's because they're really focusing on optimization at the end of the day. The same principle applies to games with more stylized approaches. These games have outlasted countless photorealistic titles because they prioritize a cohesive art direction over chasing the bleeding edge of graphics technology. If you're an aspiring game developer, I want you to internalize this lesson. Your job is to create great experience, not tech demos. And the best part, choosing a distinctive art style over photorealism is actually liberating. It gives you creative freedom, it makes your game stand out in a crowded market, it allows you to focus resources on gameplay instead of endless optimization for a bad-looking visual return. And it makes your game more accessible to players without the latest hardware. Here's some opinion from me that I think will lead to a better games in the future. 1. Choose an art style that suits your game's identity. Photorealism isn't the only path to visual excellence. A style's approach can be more distinctive and age far better. 2. Design for a baseline experience first. Make sure your game runs well without any upscaling technology. DLSS should enhance an already solid experience, not salvage a poor one. 3. Be intentional with detail. Every polygon, every texture has a performance cost. Ask yourself, will players notice this? If not, it might not be worth the resources. 4. Test on a wide range of hardware. Don't just develop on high-end dev kits, regularly check on how your game performs on mid-range systems. 5. Learn from the masters. Study how games like Doom Eternal achieve incredible visuals while maintaining performance, or how games like Breath of the Wild create breathtaking worlds with stylized art. The future of gaming isn't about who can implement the most demanding graphical features, it's about who can create the most compelling experience accessible to the widest audience. Monster Hunter Wilds isn't selling 8 million copies in 3 days because of its real tracing reflection or volumetric fog, it's selling because it's a damn good video game. The combat in this game is arguably the best in the Monster Hunter series. I'm genuinely optimistic about the future of game development, especially if the next generation of developers recognize that true innovation comes from making smart choices, not just piling on more technology or chasing photorealism. So to all the future game developers watching this, optimize your game, don't abuse the tool, and choose an art style that enhances your game's identity rather than crushing performance for marginal visual gains. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comment section what games you think are doing optimization in the right way and what games are doing it poorly. Until next time, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. See you guys next time.